Greetings, Ani, Bojo, Kwekwe, Tanzi, Scano. It's Catherine and Brian at Moonstarlodge in South Central Ontario on a beautiful late summer day, just a couple days before this reading goes live. I have my coffee, and as I salute the camera, I welcome those who've come back and have been with us for a long time, and those who are new. We are Indigenous traditional elders, and we bring to tarot our years of experience in psychology and sociology and spirituality, as well as our Indigenous perspective on all things to do with archetypes, and cartomancy is our vehicle for these readings. This week, this is a doozy. I need one of those hats where you put the beer cans and the siphons, but not for beer. 2 coffees, an IV, my cup. I'll take Brian's coffee. Just, it's that kind of a reading. First of all, this reading starts for the 16th and it ends on the 22nd. And in that time, we're still in the 10th moon cycle of Weaves the Web, Grandmother Spider Woman. However, knowing that we have a perigee full moon with an eclipse on the 17th, and at the end of the week on the 22nd, we have the season change from summer into autumn. This is the beginning of eclipse season. It's a Pisces moon lunar eclipse and full moon, and so as a Pisces sun and a Pisces moon with Libra in between them, trying to balance the wackadoo capacity in my brain, I'm feeling it already. I woke up feeling it, and so it's my job to help bring some clarity from an Indigenous perspective. We talk about Weaves the Web and the thread of her web that she's weaving, touching the crown chakra of each and every living thing, including trees and plants and rocks and everything on the earth, binding us all together because we are all one pulsing energy. And the thing is, there are spiders who, when they see that there's a problem, they will actually destroy parts of their web. And this is a time about cords that bind us together as a community. But with this lunar eclipse, this is a cutting the cords. So there's lots of preparation time as this comes to air on Sunday the 15th. I guess this will go up live. You need to be preparing your rituals for this perigee moon. That means the moon is the closest to the earth it can get, and in its elliptical orbit. So the energies are amplified. If you have edema in your feet, get your feet up. If you have heart issues or high blood pressure, be very careful. If you're in late 3rd trimester pregnancy, like I was when we had, and Jenny, the moon was enough to cause her to be premature. I mean, that stuff literally happens, and coming from a medical background, I can attest to that. Yeah, it's a doozy. So the ancestors, what I wanted for today's reading, the decks, got modified as I pulled them out. So there's actually a couple more decks than I would normally use, and I tried to figure out how I would do that. But apparently there were clarifiers for 2 cards, so that's why we have an extra couple decks. So in light of this reading, I'm using the TheMoonDustTarot by Florence Saul, the Wandering Soul Oracle, which is a contemporary deck by Rachel Jean to her Moon Tarot. This is the Dreamgate Oracle by DanielleNoel. I almost used her Moon Tarot, but they said no, they wanted this Moon Dust one, so that's fine. The Mirror Oracle, which is the companion to the Marigold. Shaman's Dream, because as a practicing Medewawan and shamanic practitioner, generally speaking, nothing says a perigee, full moon, lunar eclipse than having some shamanic insight. We have the Embroidered Graveyard, Ancestors. Here's the Cosmic Pink Wandering Moon Tarot by Rachel Jean. The Wandering Echo, which is the majors and more from the Wandering Moon. Earthbone Oracle, because I wanted dotems, and the deck I had pulled out, that was too cutesy. They wanted animals represented in their skeletal form, and then finally the Marigold Tarot. So I'm going to ask Juan, the pool boy here, to please move these boxes. And the last one here. So, that being explained, let's go to the cards. Alrighty, here are the 7 tarot cards from the Moondust Tarot, and one each of the other decks being used here either as clarifiers directly or in clarification as I was pulling the cards for what came before. And we start with the Death card. The Death card is something that has to happen. It's the end of the season, the death of summer, for sure, so to speak. But as we move through this reading, I think we're going to see that this is really death of the self as we know it. And I talked about cutting cords. Sometimes the cord we have to cut isn't with another person, but with an identity that we have carried or formed or society has pushed onto us. Family, religious traditions, society at large. This is the end of something personal within us that no longer serves. And this, being a general reading, will apply to most of us, but, you know, take it as it comes, so to speak. Just adjusting my position in the wheelchair here. It's clarified by the King of Wands, who looks down on this card, interestingly, with the wand raised. Who better to help us redefine how we want to live the next phases of our lives than the King of Wands? He has the emotional maturity to use all that fire and passion within. This is using spirit energy, the fire in the belly, the passionate, no holds barred arena of wrestling with the self into its new form. So while summer ends and who we were is ending, recognize that the King of Wands is here to help us with the fire of spirit, to help us create and co-create with the larger dimensions who we're going to be. The Seven of Swords follows. This is about stealth, being in stealth mode, sometimes using rather nefarious means. It can be stealing, but it's also very much about owning the honest self, being who we truly are. This is a card of somebody who, at the worst of this, feels like they are an imposter. So imposter syndrome is part of this. So what we're killing is the imposter syndrome. And it's really important. This death card has a dagger. These are swords. It is the correct use of getting rid of anything that isn't truly us. Kowtowing to other people's expectations, working in a job that really is slowly numbing our soul and possibly killing us. It's clarified by the rebirth card, the lotus here symbolizing the rebirth, and this is being manifested here with us, not for us, but with us by this King of Wands. Spirit asked me to pull a clarifier to help people understand that what's coming with this emancipation, really, this is an emancipation and freeing, is the Nine of Moons, which is the Nine of Cups, which is emotional joy and freedom and feeling like we have everything, all our poop put together, so to speak, emotionally. This is joy, no despondency, no seasonal affective disorder. This is joy and rapture, which of course raises our consciousness and our vibration. Following the Seven of Swords, what we are cutting away and getting rid of in this so-called cord cutting, we end up with the Nine of Pentacles, having everything we could possibly need. She's resplendent here in her garden with her flowers. And it's interesting to me that these massive amounts of flowers and the pentacles themselves look like wreaths in this deck. There's also 9 flowers in this clarifier, which is blooms. So our garden is blooming. It may also still be, because it hasn't been harvested, it's still in bloom. But the point is, growth is happening. So this is a 9 and this is a 9. Gorgeous. So far, this is good stuff. Then we have the Ten of Cups, which is the everything of the everything, not just for us personally, but for those around us. So we have what's the same, the equivalent in this deck is the Nine of Cups. We get the Ten of Cups. Everything we could emotionally possibly want for those around us by becoming our authentic self. The Ten of Cups is clarified by the anchoring card. In the fine print it says energy medicine, body temple, and vibrational healing. That doesn't happen unless we are in our highest vibration emotionally. So know that not just the experience of this, but this is about healing. So seek some healing time, exchange some healing with friends. Find a shamanic practitioner or Reiki person or therapeutic touch, however you do the energy medicine. Pull out your crystals, cleanse them in this full moon and lunar eclipse. This is the perfect Tuesday, actually start Monday and go through till Wednesday to get your crystals out in the moonlight. Do not wet your crystals. Most crystals don't tolerate that. They will shatter because they'll absorb the water. But just sit them in the moon on your Himalayan sea salt, even just bulk coarse salt. But get whatever means of healing. Get out in nature as well. This is important. So earthing and staying anchored while this true emotional emancipation is happening. The next card is the Knight of Swords. So who better to let us know that in this state of death, rebirth, emotional healing, physical healing, we have the Knight of Swords leaping in here with intellectual clarity, communication, messages of all sorts. Stuff is flying in. These look like flying saucers, but they're not, I don't think. No, they're moths. A lot of communication, a lot of exchanges, whether it's emails or letters or however you're exchanging, but it's happening. So there's a clarity that comes with this emotional stuff. What comes from this is an emancipation of the true self. The true self in its highest form is coming out of this death. This is an explosive karmic thing. We can have eclipses, they're not all karmic. This one is. So we're balancing. The next clarifier that was called for by Spirit was this card from the embroidered graveyard. And this is the witch. It's the season of the witch coming up. And again, she mirrors these flowers that are showing up. We're bringing the alchemizing, otherworldly stuff with the very practical energies of the night. So we have to keep our temperance kind of thinking happening, balancing above and below. It's the same as the High Priestess, bringing earth energies and spiritual energies together and alchemizing them. So where he is very practical, swift, very earth-bound mental energy, she is very much the balance here. And this is how we manifest the pure self in its emergent form. Please know with the Eight of Wands here that things are going to go very quickly. And so this night is going to help us with the clarity that's required to make the decisions and take the actions, because wands are fire and spirit and passion. And it's clarified here by an interesting card from the shamanic deck. This is called the Drifter. And it's experiencing life as it comes. So as this energy comes, experience and don't become anxious. Full moons and new moons, but especially this full moon, could bring about a sense of excitement that almost predicates an anxiety. But don't let that come. Just take it as it comes. This is a very Buddhist, transcendental meditation kind of statement. Take it as it comes and know that action is happening, and don't get weirded out by it. The final card here in this reading is the Six of Swords. One of the things that comes from this whole evolution, and this is a very logical, almost linear evolution here, is the successful rowing to another shore, so to speak. Taking the energy and the clarity that these swords give us, and even the sword here, to say that I need to shift where I am. So moving on, landing my boat, so to speak, my boat of life, on another shore to gain perspective and a new direction. It's clarified by discernment. The card is called specters, which are spirits. Critical thinking and insight. So this is discernment, critical thinking, and insight. So as emotional as this part here is, as freeing as this part of the reading is, we are using discernment to help us find the next place to anchor our boat. You can flip the camera, Brian. Hoo-wee. Yeah, I'm going to have another cup of coffee, I think, and, go ahead and have coffee or tea or a shot of tequila, but that's a doozy. But it's very clear, and this is the kind of thing I do when we have the picture. I will hold the pictures on my tablet for some time after the reading, just to really absorb what's going on here. That's why we post pictures that way. So Brian continues to improve, and he's not there yet, but he's getting there, and he thanks everyone for their well wishes. We thank you for your support during this time. That's still happening. Things are still needing to heal, and stuff still needs to happen, but we appreciate when you hit the like button, when you subscribe, when you send us a coffee on the coffee platform. People are sending email donations, and we love that. That helps us stay afloat during this time. That's been stressful. And we hope you'll tune in next week. I'm going to use the same cards to get more of this message, because eclipse season runs now right through till this eclipse energy runs right now till October 2nd, and the Pisces Virgo stuff runs until 2027. So there's a lot to say, and we'll use these cards again. So we thank you for being part of this journey, and we wish you well. Aho.